Good afternoon, it's Lynn here from the Learn English Network with Absolute Beginners, back from my break. It was a nice break. So, Absolute Beginners, it does what it says on the label. We take things very slowly. It is for beginners. Okay, so do be aware, it will be slow. Okay, it's mostly presentation, but if you have any questions, you can ask any questions in chat. And Reem, hello, nice to see you. I'll do the presentation first, and then at the end, I will invite you back in and see if you have any questions. Okay, so let me go through the presented materials first. And then hopefully we will have time to look at any questions you might have or get you to do some practice. Practice makes perfect, as they say. Now today, there's not a lot of new vocabulary, a little bit, a couple of new questions, just going over some previous questions, but we're adding to information we've already covered. Okay, because today we're going to look at more information about us, people. Okay, you are a person, I am a person, and hopefully we'll be able to cover some new vocabulary, but also just confirm the vocabulary we have covered. Okay, so people grow up. Now, welcome to a phrasal verb, to grow up. Okay. Grow, to grow up. And when we're born, we're babies. So when we're born, here's the baby. And that means we're young. Okay. Now, I'm not really young anymore. I don't think I'm old yet, but some people, the baby would think I'm old. So when we're born, we're babies. When we start to walk, we become toddlers. Remember little Maggie here? She's a toddler. She's walking. Babies tend not to walk. They crawl. And then toddlers start to walk. When we grow older, we become children, or sometimes people say kids. Now be careful with kids. Kids can also be a young goat, meh. So, but yeah, people often say kids. So children come in different sizes and ages. So baby, a baby, plural, babies. Child, singular, children, plural, and then toddler, toddlers. Okay, now really toddlers are children, babies are children. Okay, and if you notice, there's no gender. So, baby girl, you remember before, a baby boy. When I was born, I was a baby girl. Okay, a toddler is a toddler. Now we don't say a toddler girl or a toddler boy. We just say a girl, a boy. Okay, and again for children, we don't say a child boy, a child girl. We just say a girl, a boy. Girl and boy are the names for young people. Okay, girl is female, boy is male, masculine. A baby girl and a baby boy when they're about this age. Okay, now when a baby is first born, they can be called a newborn baby. A newborn baby. Okay, hello Rahul, nice to see you. I'm just going to do the presentation, and then if we have time, I will ask you in to chat with me. Okay? So we start to walk, we become toddlers, we grow older, we become children. Now, there's a couple of things that happen as we become children. Okay, we change sort of the way we talk about children. And as I said, kids is a slang term for children. A kid, kids. Kids are all right. And again, that is genderless. Again, you would say gender, just a girl or a boy. A bit later, we grow more, we get older, and we become teenagers. Now, a teenager and teenagers for plural. And again, just a girl and a boy. And this is when teenagers start to think, oh, I mean, when is a teenager a teenager? When is a child a child? It can depend on the country. As I say, toddlers, when they start to walk, children don't become teenagers till they are sort of from, I would say, about 5 to 12. Okay. Teenagers become teenagers 13 to 19. Yeah, the teen years. So when you're 13, you're still a boy or a girl, but you're a teenager. And when you're 19, you're still a teenager, still a girl or a boy. When you're 16 in the UK, you are an adult, but you're still a teenager. But you're legally an adult. Okay? Can't vote, but you can start thinking. When you're 18, you're legally an adult and you can vote. At 18, you can vote. Okay? There's a little bit of leeway in this in the UK. Okay? But today, people are voting in the UK and 18-year-olds can vote. Okay, confused, don't worry. We'll cover this, I know, in the future when we go into school, etc. And as we grow older, we become adults, grown-ups. Yeah? An adult. It is an adult. Oh, let me just, a toddler, a child. Let me put the articles in so you don't forget. An adult, a grown-up. Yeah? Because we have grown up. Now, teenagers think adults are old. Adults think teenagers are young. So between young and old, some adults think they're not old. I don't think I'm old, but I'm sure a teenager would think I'm old. Okay? Now, do you consider yourself a child or a teenager or an adult? That only you can answer. Okay, so a question, how you can ask somebody. So there are things you can ask people. You can ask people about their family. Okay, and a nice way, it's best not to ask, don't ask people, are you married, are you single? But a nice question to ask is, do you have any children? Now, you wouldn't ask a baby or a teenager, usually, if they have any children. You would ask an adult, oh, do you have any children? And then, how old are they? Okay, so this is a question adults would ask adults. Adults to adult. Okay, do you have any children? How old are they? And so say, yes, I've got a boy. How old is he? Oh, he's 10. How old is she? Oh, she's 4. But you never ask an adult, how old am I? Okay. I could ask you, how old am I? Or I could ask you, how old do you think I am? Now, you know I'm not a teenager. You know I am an adult. I'm a woman. Okay. I'm not a man. Okay. So woman and man are woman, female, man, male, feminine, masculine for adults. Beyond teenagers, really, you're not a girl or a boy anymore. You're an adult. And that means you're a woman or a man. Okay. You're very quiet. No questions. Good. Hopefully you know these questions. Now, what you can't really ask somebody, an adult, is how old are you? How old are you? It's what we call a personal question. Okay. Are you married? That's a personal question. It's best not to ask personal questions. So it's like a warning. How old are you? Ooh. I hate it when people ask me how old I am, especially for ladies, especially for women. Now, some people say to me, I am a lady. That's a bit strange, okay? It's a little old-fashioned now. And some people might say, I'm a gentleman. Again, a bit strange, a bit old-fashioned. Okay. So lady, gentleman, I would avoid them now. Are you a lady? No. Yeah. Are you female? Are you male? Again, personal questions. Try to avoid personal questions, especially online. You might want to know how old someone is, but really, when you're getting to know them, it's best not to ask. You will find out one day, especially when they tell you their favourite TV programmes. So beware personal questions, okay? Just my advice. Okay, so let's look at the four people we looked at before. Okay, and we talked about what nationality they were. Now we're going to talk about how old they are. When you're asking about other people, it's not so bad. How old is she? How old is he? It's not as personal. It's a personal question when you ask the person. So I would not go up to Mrs. Merkel and say, hello, Mrs. Merkel, how old are you? It's too personal. But I might ask someone else. So Rowan Atkinson, yeah? I might ask you, Reem, how old is he? And your answer would be 62. Now, you can say just the number because you're answering the question, how old is he? You could also say he is 62. Okay? But you can just as easily just answer 62. Got that right? So how old is he? 62. How old is he? He is 62. Either is correct. Enrique Iglesias? Nobody has corrected my pronunciation on that so far. How old is he? 42. Now, is he old? I'd say he's middle-aged. Okay, so we've got old and young, but I said, I don't think I'm young. I don't think I'm old. I'm middle-aged. Okay, so Rowan Atkinson, 62, getting old. 42, middle-aged. And then we've got Oprah Winfrey. How old is she? 63. And Angela Merkel. How old is she? 62. So Rowan Atkinson and Angela Merkel are the same age. Yeah. Now notice I didn't say they have the same age. They are the same age. They are as old as each other. Now, this term each other is quite useful. We will do comparisons in a future lesson, but each other for people, Rowan and Angela are as old as each other. Okay. Again, we'll do more comparisons, but Enrique Iglesias is younger than Angela Merkel. He's younger than Rowan Atkinson. He's younger than Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey is older than Angela Merkel and Rowan Atkinson and Enrique Iglesias. She's the oldest. Okay, so she is the oldest. Enrique Iglesias is the youngest. He is the youngest. Some people wonder who is the oldest member of the forum. I'm not going to tell you. I'll let them tell you. Doesn't mean they're old, but they're the oldest. He is older than her. She is younger than him. And we'll do more comparison in a future lesson, but get used to this idea. Young, old, older, younger, the oldest, the youngest. I think looking at Reem and Rahul, I'm probably the oldest in this room. There's a confession. I don't know though whether Rahul is the youngest or if Reem is the youngest. I don't know. I'm not going to try and guess. It's dangerous guessing people's age. Okay, so if you remember, when we were doing a lesson 2 or 3 lessons ago, we talked about what do I do? We talked about I'm a teacher. That's my job. Yeah, I'm an English teacher. I'm a teacher of English. And it answers the question, what do I do? Because the question, what do you do, means what is your job? It doesn't mean what are you doing? Okay, what am I doing? I'm teaching you English. I'm also checking my notes. I'm reading the slides. Yeah? I'm presenting a lesson. That's what I'm doing. What do I do all the time? I'm a teacher. What's my job? My job is to teach you. Okay. Hello, Aisel. Nice to see you. You'll have to write in English, I'm afraid. Reem, if the voice is breaking up, I can only hope the recording will be clear. Aisel, can you hear me? Why it's not working. Okay, Aisel, this is a presentation and I will invite you to speak to me at the end. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me. Let's see, Reem can't hear me properly. Rahul, can you hear me? 111. I'm afraid if it's the connection, I can't do much about that, but try watching the replay We'll see if we can talk later, okay? So, there are other possible answers to the question, what do you do? Okay. Some people work, some people don't work. Some people have a job, some people do other things. So you might say, I'm a student. Somebody might say, I'm a housewife or a house husband nowadays. A woman is a housewife, a man can be a house husband. I'm unemployed, means I have no job, but I'm looking for work. You can also say, I'm looking for work. I'm a programmer. Yeah, that's a job. Is he a programmer? He's a bit too young, really, isn't he? So, what do I do? I'm a teacher. What do you do? That's not too personal a question. I warned you about personal questions. It's still uploading. Ooh, okay, that's not good, Reem. Again, I can only apologise if you can't hear me. Can you not see the slides? It can be your connection, I'm afraid. Worked just a minute and then stopped and upload. Okay. Hopefully it will be recording. If not, I'll record it separately. Okay. So I hope you can still hear me. But okay, the questions you can ask someone about their job is, what do you do? You can ask about someone else. For a man, you'd say, what does he do? For a woman, what does she do? They're all the same. Job. Yeah. What's their profession? What's their job? What do they do at work? Okay. Where do they work? No, but what is their job title? Okay. So, do babies work? No, they're babies. That's all they have to do is be babies. Babies don't work. Do children work? No, they go to school. In the UK, all children have to go to school by law. They have to be in full-time education. They're not allowed to work. They can have little part-time jobs like delivering newspapers, but they're not allowed to work by law. And they go to school, so they're pupils. Children at school, we call them pupils or school children. So you could say he's a pupil at this school. He or she is a pupil at school. Okay. Now, do teenagers work? Well, yes, sometimes they have part-time jobs. They do Saturday work. Sometimes they do both, and they go to university or college. And that's when we call them students. So young adults don't get called pupils. When they're at college or university, they're called students. So he or she is a student at college or university. Okay. You see the same slide. I think it might be lag, Reem. Okay. If your connection is wobbly, it might not refresh. It's showing up on my screen, so I think it's your connection. We will only really know when we get to the recording. It will be interesting to see what happens in the recording. That's the real test. Okay, so they might have a part-time job, or they might have a Saturday job or an evening job. My niece, she works in the evenings. She goes to university. She has an evening job. Pay for university. Okay. He has a Saturday job. Pay for the education. okay? But only students, not pupils, okay? Children are not allowed to work in the UK. Okay? Okay, do adults work? Oh yeah, adults have to work. Well, not all adults work. Rich adults don't have to work. Poor adults like me, we have to work. So most adults work. They have a job. And when adults in the UK get old, so at the age of about 65, it keeps changing, 67, 70, they can retire. Okay. But between the ages of 16 to 65, 67, adults work in the UK. Unless they're rich, then they just lounge around all day, eating chocolates, watching television. Well, that's what I imagine they do. I wouldn't know. I've always worked. Okay, so jobs, work, professions. There's a little difference. We'll look at the difference between a job, work, and a profession. Okay, but you can imagine he's a student. He would say, I'm a student. We know Marge from The Simpsons. She's a housewife. Yeah. Now, some housewives have part-time work too. Okay. Some housewives work. Working mothers, we call them. Okay. And Mr. Simpson, Homer, he's a nuclear safety inspector at the Springfield nuclear power plant. So he works, he has a job title. Okay. And that's his job title, nuclear safety inspector. So if I said to Homer Simpson, what do you do? He could say, I'm a nuclear safety inspector. If I was to ask him, where do you work? We'll look more at where, again, in future sessions, but then he'd say, at the Springfield nuclear power plant. Okay? But nuclear safety inspector is his job title. Okay? So, let's look at our 4 celebrities again. Rowan Atkinson, what does he do? He's an actor. He's a comedian too, but he's an actor at the moment. He's playing Maigret in a British TV series. It's really, really boring. Okay, so what does he do? He's an actor. He's a comedian. Enrique Iglesias, what does he do? He's a singer. Oprah Winfrey, what does she do? Remember, masculine, feminine. She's a TV presenter. And Angela Merkel, what does she do? Well, she's the German Chancellor. Now notice, an. Articles. Remember, we looked at articles very early on in this series. Lots of practice on the lessons too. We do use articles with our job titles. I'm a teacher. So you need the article. He's an actor. She's a TV presenter. But here, you could say she's a politician, but she's actually a very powerful politician. She's the definite article, German Chancellor. So I'm a teacher. I'm the teacher on the Learn English Network. I'm the director of the Learn English Network. I have lots of different job titles. I'm the tea maker of the Learn English Network. I'm the cleaner of the Learn English Network. I'm the moderator of the Learn English Network. Actually, no, I'm a moderator of the Learn English Network. I'm a teacher on the Learn English Network. Okay? Okay, so here are 4 more jobs. Now, there are lots of jobs. I'll give you a link to some jobs on the network, but you can learn jobs and job titles for weeks and weeks and weeks. But let's see if you know these job titles. If you look at what these people do, what would you call them? When you say to them, what do you do? What would they answer? What do you think? Now, if you can't see the text, of course, this is going to be a problem. If you can't see the slide, I should say. So I'll go through them for the recording, okay? So what does she do? Well, we can see a pair of scissors and a hairdryer. So I'd say she's a hairdresser. Okay. On the right-hand side, what does he do? Well, he's looking in somebody's mouth and it looks like he's going to give them an injection or he's going to do something to their teeth. So I'd say he's a dentist, somebody who looks after your teeth. The bottom left, he looks like he's in a shop. He looks like he's selling a refrigerator or a cooker or a washing machine to the lady. So he's a sales assistant. He's got a name badge. He's wearing a suit. I'd say he's a sales assistant. Now, in America, they'd say a sales clerk. But in the UK, in British English, we say sales assistant. Okay. Yes, Aisel, dentist. Let me give you the correct spelling. He is a dentist. Okay. And this lady in the bottom right, well, nowadays she could be anything. She could be me. She's an English teacher online. Maybe she's a receptionist. Maybe she's a programmer. Maybe she's an online entrepreneur. There she is, sitting at her computer with her headset on, talking online. She could be doing anything. You would have to ask her, what do you do? Oh, I work online. Oh, what do you do online? Okay, so we used Wikipedia and Wikia for the images in today's session. I'd just like to point out that the Simpsons and those characters, they are not our creation. Their use here is for educational purposes only. I don't claim to own the Simpsons. They're just really good examples and most people know them. Okay, so let's see if we can go to the beginning of the slides. And we can ask ourselves some questions. I'm going to invite you in, Aisel, okay, and Rahul. So, Rahul, you were here. Reem, are you back? I didn't open the other control panel today, I have to admit. So let me just see. Okay. Reem says she's here. Or it says Reem's here. So, Reem, you were the first person to ask to speak. I'm going to invite you in. If your connection isn't very strong, then it might not work. So, Aisel, I will try to invite you in too. And we'll cross our fingers. I'll wait a few minutes to see if you can join me. But as I say, if the connection isn't strong, you might have to go to the recording and ask your questions there. Okay? So I'll stop screen sharing for now. Yay, it worked. Okay. So that way I might see you when you come into the room. We'll give it a couple of minutes. Okay. Reem's written my bay. I'm not sure what you mean by my bay, Reem. My bay. You'll have to explain to me. Now, Aisel, if this is your first time in the session, you'll need to download the application, and then you'll need to go through the tests. Every time you want to join a call, you have to go through the voice test. Don't worry about the webcam. We don't use webcams, but the voice test is important to make sure your microphone is working before you join the session. Okay, make sure you're on Chrome as well. Okay, whilst we're waiting then, I'll just do a little bit of work on these flashcards. Okay, so let me do some screen sharing again. Some jobs you have to wear a uniform. Now, I don't know if you know this character. Again, this is a BBC character, not my character. But this guy's called Pat, and that's his black and white cat. And I'm not going to sing the song Postman Pat. No, I'm not going to do it. So he's called Postman Pat because he's a postman. Now, here we have got gender. Postman, postwoman. Okay. Now, sometimes we now say nowadays a postal worker. That's no, without gender. Okay. So a postman is a man, a postwoman is a woman, a postal worker could be a man or a woman. Yeah. Some people have a job of a courier. If you were in Natasha's session recently, she was talking about the job of a courier. Tough job. Lots of driving and lots of stress. Okay. Now, what do you think this person does? What does she do? Well, she's sitting with two children. The children are writing. She looks like she's helping them. Okay. So she's probably a teacher. She might be a teaching assistant. Now, a teacher can be male or female. Okay. A teaching assistant can be male or female. Okay, let's move down. Maybe you recognize this guy. Maybe not, but maybe you do. He's very famous in the UK. He's a businessman. Okay. Now that's obviously with the gender. He's a businessman. Then you might say she's a businesswoman if it was a woman. And if you want the gender neutral term, a business person. I am a business person. Not a very good business person, but I am a business person. Okay, these guys. Soldier. Okay, now soldier, again, gender neutral. There's no word for a female soldier or a male soldier, but we have both female and male soldiers. This guy flies a plane. He's a pilot. But again, women fly planes too. And the word pilot has no gender. So a pilot can be a woman or a man. A pilot. This guy, he's got some sheep. A farmer. And again, farmer can be male or female. There is no gender. These people are in a hospital and they're wearing uniforms. They're nurses. Okay, she's a nurse. He's a nurse. She's a nurse. He's a nurse. She's a nurse. A nurse. And nurses, again, there is no gender. We have male nurses and female nurses. There's no gender difference. The same with doctor. Okay, a doctor can be a female doctor or a male doctor. There is no female or male. So in some job titles or in some jobs, there is a slight difference between man, woman, male, female. But in most jobs in English, there is no difference. And where there is a difference, we're making these terms gender neutral. Can't tell whether someone is a male or a female if they say doctor. And this guy, a taxi driver. And again, taxi drivers can be male or female. Okay, so I'll stop screen sharing. And Reem, you're with me. Can you hear me? Can I hear you? Can you speak, Reem?
Yes, hello?
Hey, hello. It's working.
Yes, I don't know what is the problem. Before I enter the room, it is reconnect. I
It
do,
was noodling. Yeah.
I,
Oh,
yeah. I don't know what's the problem. Maybe when enter the room, it be better. Yesterday, they were in talk to handle it okay, and now
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's the thing is with these presentations with Webinar Jam, it's streaming. Okay, so it's streaming live, which is a really heavy load on any connection. So ISIL has
Oh,
ISIL, you're new. Okay, you don't understand anything. Is that the presentation or how this works? Okay, if you asked to join me and you do have to follow the instructions. You can see it works because Reem is here. Okay, so it does work. We can talk, but you have to know how it works. You have to be able to use the application and your connection has to be strong enough to do that. If you have a forum name, if you have a membership of the forum ISIL, send me a private message and I will add you to, if you have a bad connection, okay, or a wobbly connection, as I prefer to call them, then send me a private message in the forum. I'm Lynn.
Well done.
In the forum.
You made it.
Oh, it's her
Now
again.
Create an account and start.
She's so annoying. Okay, so send me a private message in the forum and I will send you a link to another group we use that's better for people with wobbly connections. Reem, you've already joined, yes?
yes, yes. I send you a private. I will send you a private message to add me to another group.
Yep, I've done it. Okay, so
Thanks.
tomorrow for TGIF, we will open up the new TGIF group and we will test it. We'll see what happens. But what was very funny is yesterday you were in this session, but you'd gone into Discord, you'd gone into our room in Discord, and Zom could hear the session through your connection. You do need to remember to disconnect from Discord, okay? She could hear everything. She was very confused because nobody was replying to her, and she realized, I can hear Reem's connection to the webinar jam session. So yeah, do remember, if you join the Discord group, when you're in a session, disconnect when the session ends. Otherwise it will just keep playing. Okay. Okay, so ISIL, let me just screen share for you very quickly.
Just a moment, Len. The same in web, the same lesson
Remember,
that is in webinar. Can I see in discrete?
can you see the screen now? Yeah.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, you can now. Okay, so I think it was the streaming. So what you can do, Reem, if you want to look at the images from what I was talking about, I would try watching the replay. Okay, watch the replay on YouTube. Okay?
Oh,
So
okay.
Aysel, get yourself an account at the forum. Okay, send me a private message and then I will send you a link to our Discord room. Discord is very low tech. We can't do screen sharing on Discord, but voice works much more clearly, much better. And the connection requirements are much lower, even lower than Skype. Okay, so get yourself, if you haven't got a membership, go to the forum. I've given you the link and join it. Send me a private message. I'm just me, Lynn. You can see me there. Okay. And then I will send you an invitation to, in fact, you'll be the first new member to get an invitation to the Discord room. But you are more than welcome to come to these sessions and listen. However, if your connection is wobbly, you will find it a problem to come and speak. And we want you to speak, of course. Okay, but I hope you enjoyed the actual session. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the presentation, I should say. And just to get Reem to do a little bit of work. Reem, do you have any children?
Yes, I have. I have 3 children.
Okay, now I asked you, do you have any children? Now you said, yes, I have. It's not wrong, but for a question
Yeah.
that begins with do, it's better to say, yes, I do. Then I have 3 children. 3 children.
Yeah.
Wow. How do you
Yeah.
have time to learn English?
It is more difficult to study English or anything because I have 2 boys and
Oh,
close.
okay. Sorry, I heard 3. I have 2 children. Okay.
Yeah.
Both boys, you could say. Both boys. That must keep you busy. Respect, Reem. Respect. So how old are they?
The bigger Sana girl is Sana is nearly 9. Then Muhammad 6 years, and finally Yusuf, it's about 4.5.
Okay, so I heard right. You have 3 children. Okay, so what you could say is, I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, or a girl and 2 boys. That must
Yeah,
keep you very busy.
yeah, very, very.
Okay, so if I said to you, what do you do? What would your reply be? If I said to you, Reem, what do you do?
I am engineering, civil engineering, but now I don't work as a civil engineering. I am work as a teacher, a private teacher in my house.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. So what you wouldn't say, I am civil engineering. You'd say, I'm a civil engineer.
yeah,
Okay. And when you work privately as a teacher, you can say, I'm a private tutor. Okay.
private tutor. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. A teacher, it tends, I mean, this is difficult for me because I work from home, as you know. But if I say I'm a private tutor, people then want to come to my home and be tutored. And I don't do that. So that's why I'd say I'm a teacher on the network. But if you take people privately as students, then you can say I'm a private tutor. Okay. So to tutor somebody, it's like to teach, but it's more of a personal one-on-one rather than in a classroom. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Is
what's very
not in
important is,
classroom. That is.
Yeah, it can be in a class, it can be in your home, and you're giving private tuition. Yeah, tuition to
Yes.
help people pass exams, to help people learn English, to learn a language, to learn mathematics, to learn engineering. You are tutoring them to tutor somebody. Okay?
I hope one day help a student to learn English. I
Excellent.
hope,
Good.
but English difficult.
English is fun. Don't think of it as difficult. Think of it as fun. It's a funny language.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So,
yeah.
but most
Actually,
important, yeah, most important is don't say I'm civil engineering. So I'm teaching you English now.
yeah,
Yeah. So I can say I'm teaching you English. Okay. I'm a teacher. Yeah. So you say I'm a civil engineer by profession. Yeah. My profession is civil engineer. I studied civil engineering. That's maybe where you've got the confusing from. So you can say I studied civil engineering, but I am a civil engineer. Okay.
yeah. I work as a civil engineer, but not now.
Yeah. Yeah. But then you wouldn't say I work as. This is going into a little bit into the future. I used to work as a civil engineer. I used to be a civil engineer. But now
Yeah,
I'm a private tutor. It's very complicated. Don't worry, we'll be covering all this again. But what your job is, what your profession is, you're still a civil engineer because that's what your profession is. Okay. So your job
yes,
really is to be a mum now. Your job is to look after your children, but you're still a civil engineer because you qualified as a civil engineer. Okay. So professions stay with you. Jobs come and go. Okay.
yeah. Yes. Maybe take not the same professional job, but the job I understand maybe make 1 year or 2 years, but not the professional that you are studying.
That's it. Yes, we'll look at work, job, profession in a future session, but it's a little advanced for these beginner lessons. But yes, as a civil engineer, you can always say, "I'm a civil engineer." Your job might be you might be
Yeah.
retired, but you're still a civil engineer. I'm a teacher because that's my qualification. Yeah. I'm an English teacher because I have an English teaching qualification, but I've had many jobs. I'm a web
Oh,
developer.
wow.
Yeah.
That's
Lots of
nice.
jobs, but never as a mother. I've never been a mum. So I do bow to yeah, your experience there is way beyond mine. Okay, so we'd better finish there. As I say, watch the recording for what you missed. I'm sorry about the connection. I can't do a thing about it. But hopefully tomorrow in TGIF, it will be very interesting to see how we can cope with more than, if you can come. Don't worry if you can't come, but if you can come, it will be interesting to see how many people we can get speaking at the same time. Okay, thank you for coming. Take care,
It,
and I'll see you in the next session. Okay?
thanks, Liam. Thanks very much. I will
You're
try to
welcome.
be in topic. I'm
Yeah,
not sure because it is
I know if you
nearly time of breakfast here.
only if you can. Do what you can when you can. Okay? Take care then. Bye bye, Reem. Bye bye, Aisel, and bye bye,
Thanks, very
Katarina.
thanks.
Yeah, and bye bye, Katarzyna. You didn't say hello, but bye bye anyway. Bye. Good afternoon, it's Lynn here from the Learn English Network with Absolute Beginners, back from my break. It was a nice break. So, Absolute Beginners, it does what it says on the label. We take things very slowly. It is for beginners. Okay, so do be aware, it will be slow. Okay, it's mostly presentation, but if you have any questions, you can ask any questions in chat. And Reem, hello, nice to see you. I'll do the presentation first, and then at the end, I will invite you back in and see if you have any questions. Okay, so let me go through the presented materials first, and then hopefully we will have time to look at any questions you might have or get you to do some practice. Practice makes perfect, as they say. Now today there's not a lot of new vocabulary, a little bit, a couple of new questions, just going over some previous questions, but we're adding to information we've already covered. Okay, because today we're going to look at more information about us, people. Okay, you are a person, I am a person. And ages 13 to 19, yeah, the teen years. So when you're 13, you're still a boy or a girl, but you're a teenager. And when you're 19, you're still a teenager, still a girl or a boy. When you're 16 in the UK, you are an adult, but you're still a teenager. But you're legally an adult. Okay? Can't vote, but you can start drinking. When you're 18, you're legally an adult and you can vote. At 18, you can vote. Okay? There's a little bit of leeway in this in the UK. Okay? But today, people are voting in the UK and 18-year-olds can vote. Okay, confused, don't worry. We'll cover this, I know, in the future when we go into school, etc. And as we grow older, we become adults, grown-ups. Yeah? An adult. Notice an adult. Oh, let me just, a toddler, a child. Let me put the articles in so you don't forget. An adult, a grown-up. Yeah? Because we have grown. Hopefully we'll be able to cover some new vocabulary, but also just confirm the vocabulary we have covered. Okay, so people grow up. Now, welcome to a phrasal verb, to grow up. Okay, grow, to grow up. And when we're born, we're babies. So when we're born, here's the baby. And that means we're young. Okay. Now, I'm not really young anymore. I don't think I'm old yet, but some people, the baby would think I'm old. So when we're born, we're babies. When we start to walk, we become toddlers. Remember little Maggie here? She's a toddler. She's walking. Babies tend not to walk. They crawl. And then toddlers start to walk. When we grow older, we become children. Or sometimes people say kids. Now be careful with kids. Kids can also be a young goat. Meh. So, but yeah, people often say kids. So children come in different sizes and ages. So a baby, you're all babies. As we grow older, we become children. Now, there's a couple of things that happen as we become children. Okay, we change sort of the way we talk about children. And as I said, kids is a slang term for children. A kid, kids. Kids are all right. And again, that is genderless. Again, you would say gender, just a girl or a boy. A bit later, we grow more, we get older, and we become teenagers. Now, a teenager and teenagers for plural. And again, just a girl and a boy. And this is when teenagers start to think, oh, I mean, when is a teenager a teenager? When is a child a child? It can depend on the country. As I say, toddlers, when they start to walk. Children don't become teenagers till they are sort of from, I would say, about 5 to 12. Okay. Teenagers become teenagers. Child, singular, children, plural, and then toddler, toddlers, okay? Now, really, toddlers are children, babies are children, okay? And if you notice, there's no gender. So, baby girl, you remember before, a baby boy. When I was born, I was a baby girl. Okay? A toddler is a toddler. Now, we don't say a toddler girl or a toddler boy. We just say a girl, a boy. Okay? And again, for children, we don't say a child boy, a child girl. We just say a girl, a boy. Girl and boy are the names for young people. Okay, girl is female, boy is male, masculine. A baby girl and a baby boy when they're about this age. Okay, now when a baby is first born, they can be called a newborn baby. A newborn baby. Okay, hello Rahul, nice to see you. I'm just going to do the presentation and then if we have time, I will ask you in to chat with me. Okay? So we start to walk, we become toddlers.